If I've said too much, forget it. But it's been fun. It has really been fun going through this whole activity. And I hope there are things that you will remember, and uh, let me know if there are other things you want me to address, and I'll do that. And I do thank you a lot, and I love all of you. God bless. Bye-bye. We done it, didn't we, darling?
So
Mm.
when your mom left your father, who was at home?
Nobody.
Nobody was living at the house.
We were all gone. Oh.
Okay.
And the week after she came, I guess it's Uncle Clarence. Oh, I found out he was sick somehow. And I carried food, and I went out to offer to get medicine. And when I walked in, the shotgun gun was in the corner, and he told me to get the hell out of there and never come back again.
And he was drunk.
He was drinking, yeah. And I told him I had brought him food, and he's not going to eat the damn stuff. I probably poisoned it, you know. And I never did go back. I never did. It got to a very, very low state. He was associating with the lowest of the low. Drinking. I don't know how many.
Was he at that time?
59. He would have been 60 November, the year he killed himself.
So he was diagnosed with kidney colic, which you
Yeah.
attribute his
Yeah.
regression.
And knowing what I know today, I see, you know.
So it was pain. It was the kidney colic is very painful. I have no idea.
Oh, kidney colic is. They say a man knows what a woman goes through having a baby when they have kidney colic.
Okay.
And what would happen, I worked all day, come home, cooked, cleaned.
Yeah. And where were you in Rome?
No, I came back, I was working at the county agent's office in Goldsboro.
Okay.
I would have to get up sometimes 2 or 3 times during the night to carry him to Pikeville, 10 miles away, to get a shot. So much so that Dr. Pate taught me how to give it.
Yeah.
And that was a dastardly thing to do. Because then I had to be there to give him a shot or come home to give him a shot. And it was at a the mama's family reunion, and I insisted that she go, that I'd stay home and take care of him. She went, and that day, I believe he had begged for 3 or 4 shots already. And I finally gave him sterile water, and it did the same thing. And that was the day I knew he was addicted. And I called Verna, and she and Bob, when I laid it all out, they went to Dr. Pate, and he said that's exactly what's going on. And he cut him off cold turkey. So he had a reason to be very angry. And he hated me with a passion, and I guess if I'd known somebody responsible for doing that to me, I would have too.
So was he? Is that when he started drinking, or had he been drinking all along while you were giving him the shots, or was the
No, it was
taking it away?
Yeah.
Caused him to go to.
He found street drugs or prescribed drugs, one from somebody. when there was nothing that I knew of in the house, he would go to the store or something, come back high as a Georgia pine. So I knew he was getting drugs from somebody. And it was after Mama left before he started drinking again.
Okay. And how long were they living there together alone?
The best I remember, about a month.
And Burl was the last to leave?
Burl was already gone.
Who was the last to leave the house?
Burl.
Oh, so he was right. He
Mm-hmm.
was the last one.
And he moved off to live with Delbert. Months before, or a year before. I'm not sure how time. You know how I am with time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he had moved, and he was back in Goldsboro because Daddy left some things that made it look like Burl may have been involved in his death. Burl was questioned as if it may have been murder rather than suicide. And that was so painful for Burl. So painful.
Who found him?
Huh?
Who found your father?
Jay. I think Doc called him. Daddy had been by there and made some remark that scared Dot. And Ralph was not at home, so she called Jay. And I think Jay may have been eating, so as soon as he finished dinner, he took Pam, went over. And he had Pam in his arms. When he opened the door and saw him, he just put his hands over her eyes. But she did see it. Jay doesn't know today that she saw it. But Pam said it was 5 years before she could get that out of her mind. And it blew his head off. And the worst time in my life, we had to go in and clean up. And the odor spattered all over the walls, everything. And even probably worse than that, when we moved Mama, he was sitting there high as the Georgia pine on something. And every time I walked in, he'd look at the shotgun. And Jamie and I started out, and we both knew that he was very apt to pick up that gun and get us both. And we walked out, and Jamie said, "Keep walking." And we were kind of... Over at the place I worked, we parked in an alley, if it was open. And the alley had... it was dug out.
Yeah.
I parked there during this time, and just as a joke, they put a smoke bomb in my car.
They?
Some of my coworkers, not knowing anything. I turned on the key, and it went up in smoke, and I just rolled out the car. I said, "This is it," because I thought Dad had dynamited it, wouldn't it? I expected every minute for it to... I didn't tell them till a few years ago about that. I was the oldest one there. Burl was still there. Mama was not able to dress herself to do anything. There was no way I could leave. You know? Now, I can tell you, Bunny, I don't think the old ones ever put it together that every month, by the time I paid the light bill, the water, the whatever, the bills, the medicines, the doctors, and put food on the table, I had barely enough gas money to drive back and forth to work. It took everything I had. And I think twice I asked for help from some of them. I don't ever remember anybody coming in and say, well, let me. They had their life. They were buying a new car and building a new house. And yep. But it was a very, very difficult time. I would get up in the morning, fix breakfast, get Mama up, get her clothes on, and give her breakfast. Then I'd go in and get dressed right quick. And whatever time I had left, I'd brush Mama's hair and talk with her. Now, for a long time, either Verna or Chris or Addie, Raph and Dot did very little. Of course, Delbert and Angie were away. Jay and Betty, they visited, but they did not do a lot of participating. And Jamie was already drinking, so he was just surviving.
Right.
And he was away most of the time.
Where were Jay and Betty living?
In Goldsboro.
Okay, so they were nearby.
Yeah. And Raph and Dot were nearby.
And Delbert?
Delbert was in Sanford. No. He was in Fayetteville then.
Okay.
In Fayetteville. And Burl went to live with them while they were in Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't married yet?
No.
Mm-hmm. Did he do that just to get out of the house?
Yeah.
Kind of thing?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. How was his relationship with your father? Because it sounds like Burl was there in the darker years.
He was. Burl and I had an excellent relationship. So when I come home, he and I would laugh and talk and do whatever, and it would make Daddy so mad. If we got laughing much, he would do something to try to stop it. You know, it's like he couldn't stand for anybody to be happy around him. Mama was able to keep up spirit most of the time, even with everything going on.
But prior to the kidney colic issue, was his disposition kind of manipulative like that and more negative, or did he change that dramatically from that point on, or?
He did.
Okay. Was he more fun-loving and that?
Daddy was never fun-loving.
Okay.
He was very serious.
Yeah. Okay.
Daddy had more fun. We played cards a lot. I forgot to mention that. But the Harrisons and the Pates and all came up, and we'd play cards. And there'd be card games, and there'd be checkers, and there would be Chinese checkers. You know, everybody was doing something. But the only time I ever remember him laughing much would be in a situation like that. The few years in the church, he was much more sociable and laughing. But it got to the point that he may have gone 2 weeks and not said a word in the house, not turned his hand to do anything, and get dressed and go to church. And when I'd drive up with Mama, he'd come out to help her in. That was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And you know,